Hey everyone, it's baze.djunkiii transmitting from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video, and well, finally back with my chart haul for December 2K23. Actually, it's the 15th of December, so mid-month, and I thought this would be like a suitable day to shoot my chart haul for this month. And well, probably the only date that is left to shoot a video, more or less, because well, the next weeks will be busy at the nightlife venue I work at, and I've been working like yesterday, Thursday. I'm gonna work on like Saturday, Sunday, and then like I guess 6 or 7 shifts until New Year's. So this is gonna be a busy time. Maybe I'm gonna shoot another video on Christmas Eve or something like that, because I don't celebrate Christmas at all. But we'll see. Now let's get into those quick and dirty. You've seen this one. Proper Cuts Recordings, a Lath Cut label run by my mate Sascha Müller. This is the third release, I guess, or the second. The third actually, which is Sascha Müller's Back to the Funk. You've seen this in an unboxing video, and I'm gonna link that like in the end card, of course. This is one-sided Lath Cut vinyl, proper tool techno, very tribally kind of. Not necessarily something you would listen at home to, but if you're a DJ and like are into toolish, tribal, techno, percussive stuff, this is like a proper tool for you if you see any of those out there in the wild, which I doubt, because on this label there is like only like 10 releases or 10 copies per release, I guess, because they're all hand cut and lath cut. So good luck finding one of these. The next one is also for the DJs, but also for home listening. Piccolo JT and Rio Love on Alleviated Records and Music. This is of course the label run by Larry Hurt, which is like a deep house soldier and like purveyor of the deep since forever, basically since the house music scene was around. And both aliases, Piccolo JT and Rio Love, are like musical nom-de-guerres run by Larry Hurt, actually, who teams up with like spoken word artists, poets, like 2 different ones. As Piccolo JT, there is C Cherry involved, and on the other side, this is like let me have a look. M Scott, not much known about those, but this is like deep tribal, deep house with like spoken word elements. Some tracks are like telling stories about the good old days and how like going out and house music and parties were like in way back, actually. So this is like for proper like Red Velvet bars or like micro clubs. If you spin in those and you spin late night sets, though this is a record to get, definitely. Piccolo JT and Rio Love, the latest release, I guess, on Alleviated Records and Music out of the US, actually. The next one is a compilation, which is like really interesting. All the tracks have been released in the past, but lost kind of. Dreams of Electric Bleep, a collection of Irish electro from 1999 to 2005 on the Earwiggle label, which looks great. I hope you can see this properly, like because of the glare and stuff and the reflection on the protective foil. This is a double vinyl, which is released on like kind of see-through vinyl here, and comes with a little like anecdotal inlay, which talks about the Irish electro scene and the beginnings of the latest wave of Irish electro, which like happened around 1999 to, as like said on the compilation, 2005. See-through vinyl, kind of a little greenish tone. Labels look like this, a little bit marbled here, or marbleation to be seen if you look closely. And basically what this is a collection of tracks that have like probably electro, like real electro tracks, more on the muscular, heavier kind of in parts, kind of even like electro breaks, new school breaks, leading variation by a lot of protagonists, which were then basically not really known in the electro scene or worldwide, even though they had releases on like several labels or like ran labels themselves or by themselves. So Who's on there? A lot of people I really like, and I own records of, and all those tracks have been released on like kind of obscure compilations, various artists, 7 or like singles, and like home run labels or like independently run labels that never made it big time. So we got a collection of tracks that have been licensed from labels like Mass Transit Records, Sattermile out of New York, Temple Dog, New Romantic, Trauma Industries, Takeover Recordings, Headspace Recordings, and Invisible Agent Records. And the most remarkable artists on this one, there's like 8 artists here, 8 tracks, 2 per side. Decal, of course, AmeriCord, which is like an artist dear to me because I own like an AmeriCord release on the D12 label, which also was run out of Ireland, I guess. There's of course Phil Kieran, which is like maybe the best known out of all like these days, but back then was also a kind of like obscure artist. Takeover Sound, John Brain, Chimera. So a lot of interesting names that I have seen like floating around. I own some Sattermile records, I guess the very first one, a 7-inch, like ambient 7-inch. I own some Decal stuff, I own some Trauma recordings stuff, but this has been like hard to get in Germany even back then. It was mostly imported by, I guess, some French distributor, I guess, we imported from at the record store. So this is really interesting. Very, yeah, the most like, the overall theme for the most tracks is like kind of muscular, heavy electro with like a lot of like overwhelming bass lines and like hard-hitting beats. So if you're into like the deeper Detroit side of electro, this might not be your thing, but if you're into the heavyweight, also like South London bass, Control Tower, Black, Bomb Dogs and all those guys, SMB, Dead Silence, all, if those names are familiar to you, this kind of stuff will resonate with you for sure. And the last one is also a compilation, which is highly interesting because I never thought I would buy like a Zyx Music record again, because Zyx Music was like one of the highly influential labels in the 80s and also in the early 90s when it came to like licensing all the Italo disco hits, all the early techno things, all the like aggrepo kind of new beat things. Like they had a lot of, yeah, a big licensing department who got all these records into Germany and released them on their own Zyx label, and also they did a lot of compilations that were kind of influential in the rise of early techno, like techno tracks and whatever Italo dance mix or Italo disco. They were also like responsible for coining the term or like promoting the term Italo disco in Germany as well, and they kind of disappeared. And I've talked to some of the Zyx guys like a year ago maybe, because I wanted to license some music I have done with Sascha Müller to them, which didn't work out. But yeah, this one is popped up and then disappeared from the vinyl circuit kind of for a while, and only did like very commercial stuff. But now I've seen one of the records, and this is 80s Techno Tracks Vinyl Edition 2, which is a compilation with like 8 tracks on there, and the track list is absolutely massive. Some stuff I really love, so have a look first before I tell you about that. I hope you can see this right. And what this is basically is they've been digging in their back catalog of stuff they had like licensed and released in the 80s. Still they run with their highly recognizable logos, both on display in the middle of the record here. And well, they have done like this compilation of like stuff of a musical style that was influential to me as well, which is a kind of early techno, aggrepo, new beat, kind of EBM influenced like stuff that was around in the late 80s before like techno was really formed, but like electronic music was starting to take over. And there is like names on there like, of course, Moskwa TV, which is Generator 7/8, which is the biggest hit, of course, By God 20, which is the project of Tala 2XLC, the industrial project, who was the guy who ran the techno club in Frankfurt, like from '84, I guess, onwards, before techno was born, for like electronically, or as he put it, like music like created by technological means, kind of. So the first techno club parties were like synth pop and EBM and industrial, and slowly transformed into like house, acid house, also this kind of stuff. Of course, Agrepo, which was this famous German style I've been talking about like quite a bit, and other stuff on here is of course Hypnopedia, which is like licensed from Boy Records. I've shown you the Boy Records compilation on Mechatronica, I guess, a while ago. Westbam, Cold Stomper, which is not a track I knew actually, but Westbam was the one who founded Low Spirit, which was turned into a highly influential rave label, and also was involved with the Mayday Rave, which was the biggest indoor rave in Europe, I guess, or worldwide, like in Dortmund, which had like 25,000 people attending actually, and stuff that I wasn't familiar with, like Air Crash Bureau and Pluto. A lot of great stuff, a lot of stuff I've been digging into like recently, and buying a lot of like reissues from this kind of era, because I find it very interesting to backward complete my collection and in this regards, and this is one of the collections of the vinyl compilations which I really love, and which helps me to backward complete that. And also like Zux Music is like an influential label to me from early on, so it was a kind of no-brainer to buy this. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff this month, even if it's only 4 records, but for the next month it will be more, I guess. There's also stuff piling up, and I'm buying more and more reissues these days, and well, I'm digging into the old school for the most part right now. So if you're interested in that, leave me a comment, leave me a like. There is a comment section down there. All my radio dates, like DJ wise, are also in there. And if you're interested in what kind of Agrepo, acid house, early electronic music sounds like, check out my SoundCloud, because my latest radio show on Radio Flouka was kind of dedicated to that style, and similar things beyond that style. So if you want to take a deep dive into the into this kind of music, like check out my December show on Radio Flouka on my SoundCloud. I've reposted that, so this link to SoundCloud is to be found down there as well. So I'm out for now, gonna go into editing mode. See you in the next one, I guess.